It's a common story I hear. Waking up with less drive, feeling a bit dulled, and noticing that intimacy just isn't what it used to be. Many men simply chalk it up to just getting older, but I want to tell you it's often more than that. It could be something far more tangible, like tiny clogged blood vessels silently affecting circulation. The truth is, pills often can't fix what blocked veins are doing to you, but nature often can if you know where to look. I've seen thousands of men reverse what I call the quiet decline that no one really talks about and reclaim a truly vital part of who they are. What if the solution isn't hidden in your medicine cabinet, but in 4 remarkable, often forgotten herbs that can unlock blood flow and restore sensitivity from the inside out? These aren't just about improving circulation, they're about reviving intimacy, energy, and confidence. Let's explore how these powerful natural allies can help men like us quietly transform their lives. 1. Ginseng, the ignition key for blood flow and desire. After 3 decades of listening to men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, I've learned something profound. Behind every quiet sigh of frustration, every moment of doubt in the bedroom, there's a deeper question. Am I still a man? You are. Absolutely. But when blood doesn't flow like it used to, when sensation fades and desire seems distant, it's easy to lose sight of that truth. That's where ginseng, specifically Panax ginseng, comes in. Known in Eastern medicine for over 2,000 years as the man root, it's been used to rekindle male vitality, especially where it matters most: blood flow, desire, and endurance. This isn't just a supplement for energy, it's a true circulation catalyst for older men. You see, as we age, those small, delicate blood vessels, especially the ones supporting your pelvic region, can become narrowed. This limits the oxygen, sensation, and responsiveness that's vital for intimacy. Most men don't realize this. They might blame age, stress, or even their partner. But in reality, their arteries just aren't delivering what they used to. Ginseng contains natural compounds called ginsenosides that work to stimulate nitric oxide production. Now, nitric oxide is a vital molecule your body uses to open up blood vessels, allowing stronger, fuller blood flow. In simple terms, ginseng helps clear the traffic jam in your veins, restoring healthy circulation not just to your heart and brain, but to the most intimate parts of your body, the parts that truly define connection, masculinity, and confidence. I remember a man named Walter, 68 years old, recently retired and married for over 40 years. He came to me, quietly embarrassed, saying, "Doc, I don't feel like I can connect with my wife anymore. It's like I'm still here, but part of me is gone." I started him on a high-quality Korean red ginseng extract, 600 milligrams in the morning. 3 weeks later, he looked me straight in the eye and said, "I feel like I woke up again. My mind, my body, my marriage, it's all lighter now." Walter's transformation wasn't some kind of magic. It was blood flow. That's the power ginseng can offer older men. It doesn't just enhance performance. It brings back presence, clarity, warmth, and that deep sense of being capable again. But not all ginseng is created equal. You need a clinically tested, properly standardized form, not something you'd find at a gas station or buried in a multivitamin. Look for Korean red Panax ginseng, ideally standardized to at least 5% ginsenosides. When taken consistently, it supports cardiovascular health, fights fatigue, and most importantly, restores the pelvic circulation that fuels intimacy. So, if you've been feeling distant, dulled, or disconnected, ginseng might just be your starting point, the ignition key your body needs to bring blood flow, confidence, and desire back online. 2. Horny Goat Weed, not just a joke, a circulation secret. I know. Most men laugh when they first hear the name Horny Goat Weed. It sounds like a gimmick or something you'd stumble upon on a shady website, definitely not in a serious medical conversation. But I'll be honest with you, as a doctor who spent over 3 decades helping older men reclaim their health and confidence, this herb has quietly become one of the most effective tools I recommend for restoring circulation and sexual vitality. Its real name is epimedium, and its active ingredient is a powerful compound called icariin. This isn't folklore, this is science. Icariin works by inhibiting the PDE5 enzyme. Now that might sound technical, but it's the same enzyme targeted by popular medications like Viagra. The difference is, instead of forcing your body into short-term action with potential side effects, horny goat weed works with your body, gradually and gently restoring blood flow and sensitivity in a more natural rhythm. For men over 60, this is absolutely critical. As we age, those blood vessels, especially the tiny ones in the penis, can start to narrow, harden, and lose their elasticity. This means that even when your mind is willing, your body simply can't respond the way it once did. The signal between your brain and body weakens, and with that, intimacy can start to feel like a struggle instead of a shared connection. I recall a patient, Glenn, age 72, a proud man who worked in construction for 45 years. He told me, "Doc, it's not about performance, it's about closeness. I just want to feel connected to my wife again, to feel like myself." I started him on a quality horny goat weed extract, standardized to at least 10% Icarian, and told him to give it a month. At his follow-up, he said with quiet pride, "It wasn't sudden, but it was real. Like the lights came back on." That's what this herb does. It doesn't create artificial heat, it restores natural blood flow, especially in those areas older men have quietly forgotten how much they miss. The results are often subtle at first, maybe better morning stiffness, a warmer feeling of responsiveness, or a deeper emotional reconnection. But over time, the shift becomes unmistakable. Horny goat weed also has a remarkable secondary effect. It gently boosts natural testosterone while helping to lower cortisol, which is that stress hormone that can quietly kill desire. For men carrying the weight of retirement fears, health worries, or emotional distance, that hormonal balance isn't just helpful, it's essential. If you're considering it, use it daily in the right dose, around 250 to 500 milligrams of extract with at least 10% Icarian. And don't expect overnight miracles. Expect something better, a gradual return to vitality, to warmth, to connection. This is how nature truly heals, not in fireworks, but in the steady return of blood flow and self-worth. For men who feel like they've quietly faded, this herb helps turn the volume back up on life. 3. Ginkgo Biloba, the forgotten flow booster. I'll be honest with you, when most older men hear the name Ginkgo Biloba, they often think of memory, maybe a brain supplement they tried once. But what they don't realize is that ginkgo's most powerful gift isn't just to the mind, it's to the blood vessels that feed both the brain and the body, especially the ones that quietly affect intimacy. Those blood vessels I'm talking about, they are the smallest, most delicate ones in your system. Yes, the ones in your brain, but also the ones in your pelvis. These are the very vessels that determine whether blood can actually reach the tissues responsible for arousal, sensation, and connection. And sadly, these are also the vessels that are most vulnerable to age, plaque, and the passage of time. That's where ginkgo truly shines. This ancient herb, used for centuries in Eastern medicine, acts like a natural blood thinner and vessel opener. It improves something we call microcirculation, the ability for blood to reach the tiniest pathways in your body. When those pathways are blocked or narrowed, it doesn't matter how much desire you have, the response simply won't come. I've seen this in my practice more times than I can count. I had one man, 70 years old, an ex-military gentleman, healthy on paper, who came to me frustrated and confused. He wasn't overweight, his labs looked decent, but he said, "I just feel numb, like my body stopped talking to me." I started him on a clinical dose of ginkgo, about 120 milligrams twice a day, and we waited. By week 4, his energy improved. By week 6, he reported something even more meaningful. "Doc," he said, "it's like I can feel again, not just physically, emotionally, too." That's what circulation does. It doesn't just pump blood, it revives sensation, emotion, and confidence. And when you get that blood flowing freely again, your entire presence begins to change. How you walk, how you speak, how you connect with the one you love. Ginkgo also supports oxygen delivery to tissues, reduces inflammation in aging vessels, and has even been shown to improve erectile function in men with circulation-related issues. No blue pill can do all that without side effects. Ginkgo does it gently, naturally, and over time. But consistency truly matters here. Ginkgo isn't about instant results. It's about restoring the pathways so your body can respond again, not artificially, but authentically. Think of it like opening forgotten roads that haven't seen traffic in years. With time and care, they come back to life. If you're someone who's lost sensation, if intimacy feels dull or disconnected, ginkgo might be the very herb your body's been missing. It doesn't force desire, it makes it possible again. To me, that is more valuable than any prescription. 4. Tribulus terrestris, the male rejuvenator. There's something deeply personal about a man's sense of vitality. It's not just about energy or performance, it's about identity. And when that energy starts to fade, especially after 60, it can feel like a slow erasing of who you once were. I've had so many men sit in my office, their voices low, their eyes heavy, telling me the same thing in different words. I just don't feel like myself anymore. That's why I often turn to Tribulus terrestris, a humble herb with a powerful ability to restore what time and stress have slowly taken away. At its core, Tribulus is a natural hormonal activator. It doesn't flood your system with synthetic testosterone or disrupt your internal balance. Instead, it gently signals your body, specifically the pituitary gland, to increase luteinizing hormone. This, in turn, tells your testicles to boost your natural testosterone production. And when testosterone rises naturally, everything else begins to shift. Blood flow improves, muscle tone sharpens, mood brightens, and intimacy doesn't feel like a distant memory. But what makes Tribulus truly special for older men is how it reawakens vascular tone. It strengthens the blood vessels that supply oxygen and nutrients to your pelvic region, improving circulation in ways that restore not just performance, but presence. That slow, sluggish feeling, the lack of sensation, the loss of warmth and responsiveness in intimate moments, that's often a direct result of poor blood flow and hormonal decline. Tribulus works on both fronts. I think of one man I worked with, Richard, a 74-year-old widower who had just begun a new relationship. He told me, "I didn't think I'd ever feel that spark again. I thought those days were gone." We started with a moderate dose of Tribulus, 500 milligrams daily, standardized to 45% saponins. Over the course of 6 weeks, he came back a different man. Not younger, but more alive. He simply said, "It's like I'm here again, all of me." Tribulus isn't a shortcut. It's not a drug. It's a nudge, a gentle reminder to your body that it still knows how to be strong, responsive, and engaged. When used consistently, it enhances libido, supports erectile function, and increases stamina, all while promoting a better mood and motivation. It also supports heart function and overall circulation, making it a full-body solution for men who want to feel more grounded, more capable, and more intimate. And perhaps most importantly, it restores a sense of hope. Because once your hormones begin to return to balance and blood starts flowing freely again, your mind follows. You don't just feel better physically, you begin to feel more connected, more emotionally present, and more confident in your own skin. For men who've spent too long quietly suffering, Tribulus can be a true turning point. It reminds you that you're not done, you're not broken, you're not past your prime, you just needed the right support. Bringing it all together, a symphony of renewal. Now that you've seen how each of these 4 herbs works in its own powerful way, one opens the vessels, one fuels the engine, one clears the path, and one restores the signal, it's time we bring it all together. Because the real transformation happens when they work in harmony. If you've stayed with me this far, then you already understand something that far too many older men have forgotten. Intimacy, strength, and connection don't have an expiration date. They don't vanish at 60 or retire at 70. They fade slowly only when we stop giving our bodies what they truly need to thrive. We've talked today about 4 remarkable herbs: ginseng, horny goat weed, Ginkgo Biloba, and Tribulus terrestris. Each of them plays a unique and powerful role in supporting your health as a man, not just physically, but emotionally and intimately. These herbs don't just mask symptoms like a quick-fix drug, they nourish your system, restore blood flow, reawaken sensitivity, and support the very hormones that fuel your vitality. What I want you to take away is this: your body isn't failing you, it's asking for support. It's been whispering for years, trying to tell you that circulation is slowing, hormones are shifting, and certain signals aren't reaching where they used to. These herbs offer answers, not hype, not miracles, but real, time-tested tools that speak the same language as your body. I've seen men in their 60s who thought their best days were behind them, men in their 70s who had quietly given up on connection, and men in their 80s who were simply waiting out the clock. But when they began addressing the core issues, blood flow, hormonal balance, and emotional reconnection, something beautiful happened. They came back to life, not in a dramatic, flashy way, but in a steady, quiet confidence. They started walking taller, smiling more, reaching for their partner's hand again, feeling present and proud in their own skin. I say this not as someone trying to inspire false hope, but as a doctor who's walked this road with hundreds of men just like you. Aging is real, slowing down is normal, but disappearing, feeling invisible, losing that fire inside, that is not your destiny. Nature has given us powerful allies, science has validated them, and your body is still capable of responding if you'll just give it the chance. Maybe it starts with one change, one bottle, one conversation with your partner, or one step toward believing that this chapter of your life doesn't have to be dull, silent, or disconnected. It can be rich, close, warm, and real. You're not done. You're not broken. You're just being called to remember the strength, the sensitivity, and the life that still lives within you. So if this message spoke to you, if something stirred inside you today, don't let it fade. Take action, stay curious, talk to your doctor, and above all, listen to your body, because it's still speaking and it still wants to live.